Hey guys, Ponce here on the public test round with the last of my Season 4 slash pre-Season 4 item changes, new item video series thing. Assuming they don't, change more stuff and add more items, which is extremely unlikely. So scratch that about being the last video. I'll probably make another one at some point. But in any case, this one is about trinkets and a couple other basic items that they changed that I'm going to go over at the end of the video. But I'm assuming most people kind of want to know about the trinkets more than anything. So, yeah, let's go over that. It's basically trinkets are a free slot, as you can see here. Like I got the Scrying Orb, and this is the range, and I just kind of, I press the button, and it's going to act as, what's it called? A clairvoyance. But in any case, I'll explain what's going on first. So why don't we start off with this one? It's called the Scrying Orb. You get it at free. You can get, you're limited to one trinket, and your trinket slot does not eat up an item slot. Passive becomes Greater Orb at level 9 and can be further upgraded with gold. Its unique active reveals a small location within 1100 range for 1 second, 150-second cooldown. Also, this is a note here, trinket cannot be used in the first 90 seconds of a game. Selling a trinket will disable a trinket for use. Trinket use for 180 seconds. So let's go ahead and actually just switch this out first. So I can sell it for free and then get the other thing for free. And when you hit level 9, it automatically changes. So, yeah, so that's the Scrying Orb there. And as you can see, it starts out at a very limited range, and it looks like it's not going to be that useful. It's mainly, I guess, kind of like so you can face check a bush kind of thing, or your ward just went down and you're not sure if a jungler's still in the brush, stuff like that. However, when at level 9, when it auto upgrades, reveals an area up to 2,000 units away for 1 second, 150-second cooldown. So 2,000, that's a pretty significant increase. That's double. So you saw the thing could go up to here. Now the whole clairvoyance thing can go up to probably like here, or that's something thereabouts. And the final upgrade, this one actually costs money, so you probably don't want to be swapping this out constantly when you actually upgrade it for money. But unique active now reveals an area up to 2,500 units away for 1 second. So now 2,500, that's probably up maybe around like here or something. I'm not sure. But that's my guess.
And the final arbiter.
Next we have the sweeping lens. Why don't we go over that one next? Yeah, sure. So again, this is limited to one. You can get it right away, right at level 1. So the passive becomes greater at level 9. Same thing as the last trinket. Unique active reveals and disables nearby invisible traps and invisible wards for 4 seconds in a small radius. So basically, I'll show you that's the radius here. So basically, everything around Nasus in that circle there would be revealed. So if there's a ward, this is probably more like a jungler thing, where you suspect there's a ward somewhere, or maybe the laner gives away there's a jungle or a ward there when he starts running away. So you just press that item, it reveal it, and then you can kill it, and then you come back later when the ward's down. So that's kind of neat. And interestingly, I'm just going to reference something here. The ward trinket is on 120-second cooldown, but it starts out at 60 seconds. This is the trinket that you place a ward with. I probably shouldn't be jumping around like this. But the sweeping lens cooldown is actually longer than the ward thing, although the ward doesn't last as long. So there you have that. And then that'll upgrade into reveals and disables nearby invisible traps, devices, and wards for 6 seconds in a medium radius. Now it has a 90-second cooldown, so it looks like the radius goes up and the cooldown goes down. So basically, you can at level 9 you can start spamming it more and get a lot more wards down. It seems like it's a lot more useful at level 9, although that seems to be the case with all the trinkets. So, and when you upgrade it, the final thing. Now it reads, reveals and disables nearby invisible traps, devices, and wards for 6 seconds in a medium radius and grants detection of nearby invisible units for 10 seconds. Incidentally, how it says disables, or reveals and disables? That probably means the ward actually doesn't work. I haven't tested this, but that probably means the ward doesn't work while you're when you press the thing and for the duration. So when you actually kill the ward or whatever, I mean, the jungler, you can assume he's going to kill the ward, but you're not really sure what he's doing after that. So that's kind of neat, if it works like that. Finally, actually, why don't we just press the button? So, when you use it, the radar effect goes off. And if there's any wards near me, I would have seen them.
Fate is a manifestation of my will.
Sure thing, Nasus. Alright. And finally, we have the warding trinket. This is probably the most basic one that you're going to see the most of. I mean, it's pretty simple. It's what you would imagine it to be. Becomes a greater totem at level 9. But the unique active is places a stealth ward, or green ward, to use sort of common terminology. Places a green ward that lasts 60 seconds, 120-second cooldown, and you're limited to 3 wards on the map per player. So 3 green wards. That's a different support change thing, or vision change thing. I'm not going to go over that too much, but in fact I won't at all. But in any case, you can have a ward up half the time with the free version, or the free crappy version of this trinket. Now when it upgrades to at level 9, the cooldown now matches the length or the duration of the ward. So it lasts for 2 minutes, and you can place a ward every 2 minutes. So you can pretty much have a ward up all the time, assuming it doesn't die. So maybe as a top laner, you won't need to buy wards at all anymore unless it gets killed or something. Or you want more wards down, which is always a good thing to do, I suppose, if you can afford it. And if you upgrade it to, there's actually 2 build progression paths. Let's go over the first one. So there's the green ward upgrade progression path, where you can place a ward once every 180 seconds. So the ward now lasts 3 minutes. It's an actual real ward, the full 3-minute duration. And the cooldown the cooldown is 120 seconds. So you can actually have 2 wards up as a result of this briefly, or at least for 1 minute. And lastly, let's go to the Greater Vision Totem. So this is the alternate progression path. In this thing, you can place a what's it called? A pink ward down. And pink wards work differently. In fact, why don't I explain what pink wards do? Pink wards places a visible ward that reveals the surrounding area and invisible units in the area. Or rather, invisible units in the area. What? I'm just going to restart that. Places a visible ward that reveals the surrounding area and invisible units in the area until killed. Limited 1 vision ward per player. So basically, you buy this and put it down over here. So the vision ward is always going to be visible. It never stealths like the green ward, but it has. Actually, they haven't changed that. They said it was going to have 5 HP, but it's still at 3. But in any case, it's cheaper now, and you can only have 1 up. So this is don't worry about this too much. This is all part of a whole vision rework thing. That's not what this video is really about. So don't worry about that too much. But yeah, basically, as the pink upgrade path, you can place one of those down. It has a 180-second cooldown. So yeah, there you have it. That's the changes there. And for the hell of it, why don't we place a stealth ward beside it? So yeah, those are the trinket slots. That's kind of neat. Should bring an interesting new dynamic to the game. Certainly as a top laner, I'm really looking forward to this warding totem. But we'll see how it interacts with the sweeping lens, if the junglers are always getting that. But yeah, thanks for watching, and this has been Ponce on the... no, wait a minute, I lied. I told you guys I was going to also cover a couple basic items that I thought was pretty important. Yeah, so I'm not going in there.
Mortality is guilt.
Let's do longsword first. This isn't a major change, but it's kind of important to the early game. Basically, longsword now only costs 360 gold as opposed to 400, which means you can get an X. You can basically do longsword, I believe, in 4 pots as a starting setup. So that's pretty neat. It's another option for starting stuff, because I was never really fond of the whole what is it? Longsword 2-pot start. All items that build out of it have been sort of changed accordingly. They all cost the same ultimately, I think. It's just sort of they had to boost up the combined costs, but it doesn't really affect anything else. The other interesting thing that I thought was Will of the Ancients. Let's go over that one. Will of the Ancients now builds out of fairy charms and shit, so that's kind of weird. As a result, it's 550 gold cheaper, and it now has a mana regen, obviously, since it builds out of fairy charms, and it gives cooldown reduction, but it no longer has that aura thing, so it's a bit more of a selfish item. However, cooldown, or rather mana regen, kind of makes it a waste on a lot of the champions who use it. For example, like Rumble used to build Spellvamp, not really so much anymore, so that doesn't really change him too much. It's kind of wasted on Vlad at this point, although at least he does get cooldown reduction. Mordekaiser, that's also wasted with the mana regen if you still want to build Spell Vamp. But we'll see what happens to Spell Vamp. I'm going to suspect they're going to do something with Spell Vamp this season, maybe a new item or stuff like that. But in any case, that's all the sort of the major things. There's a lot of like minor cost changes and stuff that I'm not really going to go over since it's so early and I don't know how it's going to pan out. And it's like 100 gold here and there and a few things. So I'm not going to cover that. But that's it for trinkets and sort of other basic items. I will see you guys around, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.